Easy, right? No, not really. If it's not easy, it's fine. I mean, we're all learning, right? Even myself. So I think I'll also use the time to go through what I want to do with the labs. Now, Professor, can I erase this?
Yeah, you can erase.
I don't think everyone can see me, right? What should I do? What about this side? Do you need to take a picture of this? No? Okay, well, the good news is that most of the material is in the slides, right?
I put a class note there.
Okay, so that's already in class notes.
Or you can check the class note in Moodle. Everything is here.
Let me ask everyone, what do you want to learn from this course? What are you looking to learn? Now I'll ask each person one by one. Now forgive me, my name, I still haven't remembered everyone's name. So I know I'm putting everyone on the spot, right? But there's a good reason why I'm asking this. Ahmad, right? Is that the... Yeah, Ahmad, right? Saying wrong?
I think the person not coming.
Is that it? Yeah. How many students there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
We have
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. So the one person I called is not here.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Ishaq. Right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so Ishaq. What are you expecting to learn from this course?
Expectation.
Yeah.
So maybe I can run pre-practice and urinanism.
Okay.
Not just run, but make some use case, like solve some problems. I mean, it's like dealing, like maybe to provide connection for some use case like industry or hospital or something.
Okay, so you haven't really narrowed down your use case yet.
No.
But you focusing more on the application rather than the theoretical part.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm trying to go off my memory. What's your name? Evan, right?
Yeah.
Evan, so Evan, what are you expecting to do?
Pretty much the same.
The same? Okay. So these are the application people, right? Application focus. And Mohammed, right? Mohammed, right? Yeah, okay. Mohammed Zafran. Mohammed Zafran. Okay, so what are you expecting to do?
Like pretty much the same.
The same?
Like a baseline first.
Baseline.
Because maybe for my thesis I will be using NS3 for
NS3.
yeah. What is about the mobility and like tracing.
Okay.
discover 5G because in my university I do networking, but not the wireless networking, only cable and Ethernet networking with firewall. So I want to discover wireless networking with 5G.
Okay, I understand. And Benjamin, you're Benjamin, right? Okay, so what are you expecting to learn?
It's the same.
See,
We
so
come from the same university.
yeah, you are from the same university, but the expectation might not be the same. So I still need to ask. And
I think I want you to learn more about the basics of the 5G in the
Physics?
No, I think more like coding. Yeah, because I really love embedded system, and I think 5G would be useful in this domain. But I know the things like 5G or things like this not really interest me. So I think I need a course to learn more because alone I will not do it.
I see. I understand. And the last, oh no, the one before the last is so you are Google, right? Google, right? Okay, so alright. And what's your expectation? What are you expected to learn from your time in this class?
Mainly like the basics of 5G, how to set up 5G network, private 5G network.
I see. Okay. And the last, but not the least apparently, and this EMAS, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what is your expectation?
For me, I want to learn how to design 5G network, because as of now, I already know about the basic stuff of like the core, the RAM, and all that stuff. But for me, I've never actually learned or tried to build a real network, at least simulation, which focus on a scenario or a case. Because I only did run UE number 1, run UE number 2, connect to CUD and all that stuff, but never actually know what to do with this knowledge. Like, I don't know. I haven't know what should I do with the whole network architecture. Because in this class, there will be a final project, right? And that will be the finding the use case for how to design a network.
I see. I understand. Okay. So from speaking with everyone, I can at least see two levels. The first one is the high level application, and the second one is the mid level abstraction layers, right? So application driven would be something like you have in the medical, for example, one application might be you have to set up a 5G system for some medical, maybe a hospital or something, right? So you have some high level parameters, latency, reliability, and then you have maybe the type of equipment. Each of them have some sort of specification, right? The second one is the mid level, the abstraction. So you want to somehow understand how to create or how to structure your network, right? Your 5G network. So how do the user equipment fit into the transmitters on the core, right? So in your case, you want to go more rather you want to get from the technical to more like not the theoretical, but more like something more structured, right? So the reason why I ask that is that when you're designing your projects or when you're choosing your projects, the most important thing, in my opinion, is to understand what criteria you have to meet. First, you have to understand the problem that you're looking at. So there's the case study. For example, if you're looking at a 5G case study, they're going to have some situation that they would require 5G to be implemented, right? So that would be the first thing. And the second thing is that
I think
every situation will have the problems, right? Like for example, maybe you have some area and everyone wants to connect, but each device has to have minimum latency, right? Meaning that okay, you need this amount of speed. But why? Right? They will not tell you outright, oh, I need this amount of speed. Usually it will be something like, I need to be really fast, or I need to not have my packets dropped, or something like that, right? So then your task now is to translate from the actual situation to the specifications that you've done implemented 5G, right? So once you have translated that, then your next step would be how do I put this into the free 5G framework, right? That's the next step. And after you put it in that, sometimes you might not even be able to meet those requirements without adjusting the parameters. For example, maybe some parameters might be, how should I say, they might be conflicting. So your task now would be to somehow find a set of parameters that can meet that can solve your problem, right? Now, one thing I've realized is that even if you come to this class, you need to have a goal, right? You need to have an idea of what you want. And then you need to constantly ask, how does the material that's being taught fit into your set of goals? And if it doesn't fit or doesn't meet that, you can always ask us to ask how to, get that to to align with your requirements, right? So, we could look for a set of. So I think for the projects, it might be better for us to look for certain use cases, maybe like case studies. And then we could, at a distance, I was a professor, but we could look for certain case studies and maybe that could help you choose, maybe design, maybe you just choose a case study and you try and duplicate that case study, right? Maybe that can help, because you may have the knowledge, but it is a difficulty in translating the knowledge that you learned to something in real life. So that's it for the little, little break, mental break. Okay, so have you all started to go for your labs? Okay. So from now to the end of class, we'll just use the time to complete the labs. Remaining.
the lab too.
Yeah, so they've already downloaded the material. So it's in this one, we have 1, 2 labs. Okay, I need to do the cool class. Embedded systems. So for embed, I think, if I remember correctly, 5G has at least 3 branches, right? So depending on your application, you'll be focusing mostly on one. You have an idea of Benjamin and Julia, right? And your name? Hugo. Okay, so I called him the wrong name. What is your name?
Julian.
Julia, okay. So, okay, so Hugo, your application will be more focused on the machine-to-machine communication side of 5G, right? So each branch usually has they all have the same, generally have the same specification, but the parameters that are used generally are different, right? So for example, for the enhanced broadband, you focus mostly on phone calls. doesn't care too much about the latency. But for machine-to-machine communication, latency is very important, right? But not so much throughput, because if you have your sensors, maybe you have sensors all around the place. These sensors by themselves usually transmit very little data, right? But if you're watching your YouTube on, 8K or whatever, you don't really care too much about the latency. Just care about you get the data fast enough, right? It's kind of like that. So when you're choosing your projects, you need to think of how does the application fit into the 5G paradigm. Do I need to focus more on latency? Do I need to focus more on bandwidth? Right? What is on latency? Enhanced broadband. I think it's ultra low. There's machine-to-machine communication, and the last one is ultra low latency or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Which one is more difficult?
I think it depends on the application, usually. It's kind of like you can have an easy, let's say if you want to have 5G for just 2 or 3 users, not going to be as difficult as having.
By my view, I think actual low latency is more difficult to achieve. Because for extremely broadband, you just need to increase the bandwidth, maybe apply some millimeter wave radios. You will be able to achieve. But for low latency, it's only 1 millisecond.
But I was
one millisecond.
the question you asked is a bit difficult because let me say you can interpret it differently. Like, you mean like the constraints? Yeah, we should have the tightest constraints, then yeah, I would agree. Because for ultra low latency, these are physical limitations. Like for example, if you have copper wires already have a limitation to how fast the data can move. So if you want really fast communication, you have to be optical, right? So now, yeah, I would agree. But for like ultra enhanced broadband, you just have to increase the number of channels. And you're good. So I agree. It's more hardware. I think that actually gave me an idea. Maybe I should ask these kinds of questions. Don't worry, it's just for argument's sake. I can ask you all which is most difficult. You tell me and you support your stance. Right? It's not necessarily like, oh, this is right, this is wrong. The important thing is how you support your argument. Just put it, as long as you have the evidence, as long as you can convince someone that you are correct, that's all that matters. So most problems is, I kind of rant, but I think like most problems don't really have a right or wrong answer, especially if it's outside of a technical document. Right? But if this is a technical document, then you're gonna always see, hey, the document says this. But if you want to, how many people here like football? Who likes football? Football? No? Anyone like sports? I don't like sports per se. I mean, except for esports. I like esports. What kind of hobbies do we have here? Hobbies. I saw you playing chess, though. You like chess? Yes, I saw it. I didn't see anything, right? So I know he likes chess. Who else likes chess? Anyone else? I play chess a little bit. Yeah. So if you want to argue, okay, who's the best chess player in the world?
Magnus Carlsen.
Okay, so that's an argument, like he's the best, he has the highest ranking.
Yeah.
But somebody else can say, okay, the ranking is just one way, but what about strategy? Like, who has the best, who has like shown consistently that they're able to maybe out strategize? I mean, this is ranking wise, but
Yeah,
like,
you can really know, yeah, it's like in general, he's the best, but like in every topic, you can't know if he's the best.
yeah. The thing is, it's not necessarily answer, but like the reasoning to get the answer. That's interesting, right? So if you have an argument and you like suppose you frame one, you frame an argument around your evidence, and then it's up to the other person to either agree or rebut. If you are rebuttal. Okay, so this person is not the best. But why? He said this person is the best, but he said this person is better. Right? So maybe I'm saying it will not necessarily come on the exam, but I think to make this class more interesting, we have this question. What area in 5G would be the most difficult to implement and why? What areas cost the most money and why? Right? So if you had to go, let's say you had to refurbish a 4G system and implement 5G, is it feasible? Does it make sense? Why does it make sense and why should you not implement it? Again, at your job, they may need you to, well, likely if you just enter the job, you probably won't be asked to make judgment level decisions, but those are the kind of jobs that will be difficult for AI to phase out. But you have to make judgments, because making judgments require you to know the hardware, to know the framework very well, right? So you have 4G, right? Everyone uses 4G. So why is it that 5G is not really seen as a success compared to 4G? I think did everyone have access to a 3G phone? Your 3G? You used 3G before?
I think sometime in the
Have you used 3G?
3G.
Yeah. Yeah. What about 2G? You used 2G before? Okay. How about 1G? No. Okay, it's a joke. Okay, so 3G versus 4G. What is the improvement? Was there a vast improvement? Much better? Much faster, right? So once you had upgraded from 3G to 4G, you will see a noticeable difference. But what about 5G?
Like 4G and 5G is like the same, but it's useless because now 4G is like when I'm watching a video on YouTube, I can be like in in the best quality,
Yeah.
and then not have any lag. 4G, so 5G is better. It's useless.
Yeah. But if I were to ask you to pay 2 times the cost for 5G, would you do it? Yeah, that's the kind of question, right? So you get a higher quality, but is it worth the increase? Because telecommunication companies have to pay for extra hardware, right? You have to pay the people to implement it, and you need to maybe hire new people, right? So by understanding what changes that 5G implemented, right? You can understand. Well, actually, you can make the learning process more interesting. Right? So, for example, if I were to ask you, let's say you have to make a decision between improving your latency for your equipment or adding maybe extra bandwidth, right? But the resources that you have in your system is fixed, right? So you have to balance between them. Which one would you choose, and why? You cannot answer that question right now because I haven't given you the problem specification, right? Unless if you know the actual problem and like, okay, so I have let's say my system has let's say, okay, so once you host your computers, your computers have CPU, RAM, whatever, right? And depending on how much load your system has, you have a level of resources, spare resources that it can go up and down, right? So if you have to improve your quality of your system, you have to assign, there's something called slicing, right? You can literally slice your 5G network into various, I say logical levels. It's not the correct thing, but the way I think of it is like when you separate the layers, as far as the equipment is concerned, it will see it as like a new layer, and that new layer can be defined according to its own specifications, right? Unlike with 4G where everything has to share the same network, you could separate them, right? So if you have to make a change in your network, you can use that slice. But then you're still limited by the hardware that you have, right? So apart from buying new hardware, you may have to, how should I say, divert resources from your network if you want to create new slices, for example, right? But then you need to ask yourself, should you do that or should you not? It's questions like this you may need to ask yourself once you start working on your projects. Is that clear? I think, sorry if I can't explain it too well. I'm just trying to make, I'm trying to show you, like, it's not only about like just completing the lessons. It's about asking, okay, how does that knowledge fit into the bigger picture, right? That's what I'm trying to develop, right? Okay, so what time is it now? Can you up 4 o'clock, so program 4 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just leave you on, we have about 10 minutes. I'll leave you to finish up your stuff.
So you are not going to share anything?
No, I give you all the instructions in the.
Okay, so I think it's about time to give a recap for this class. Already we watched a video. I put a video, we go to the, let's see. Well, maybe you wonder how to apply a 5G network. Like, or how do people implement 5G network? So I find examples. That's a Tesla. They deploy a 5G in the factory. In the factory in Berlin. Okay, so maybe you watch this. We have 15 minutes. Okay, so maybe you can watch the video. I think this will give you examples about how to apply the technology in the future. So maybe give you a direction for your final project. This video is on
Can I watch this? I don't have an X account though. No, I don't.
maybe you click on.
It just goes to factories.
Yeah, you should be
In this video,
I have some interviews. Managers.
well, maybe I can sit there because I'm not finding.
Where you go to check the website.
This one cool. Search. That's when I need.
There are more stories for the 5G private network. The portion also. The company also plan to roll out their 5G high-fiber mobile company. They somewhere I don't know. You cannot play a video?
I cannot find the video. It just brings me to the main account. I suspect it's because I don't have an X account.
You can sign with Google.
I don't want to join X.
Okay.
Sorry, that's my stance.
Okay, maybe
I don't have an account either.
this is why you can watch the video later. Okay, so maybe you go back to today's list.
This?
Yeah. Okay. So after the class, I need you to finish the exercise. Okay. I asked this in maybe week 2. So I hope we can finish by this week. So we may have a check. So after you complete, I think you will be ready for the exam.
Okay.
So for the week 8, we will have maybe first hour, we will have exams. The quiz would come from this exercise. Also, some quiz will come from the materials Maria prepared. That would be 20 quiz only, not too difficult. Okay. So after finish that, we will have 2 hours for you to discuss your project. I would suggest you to start with reading some maybe article or paper or refer to some videos, something like that, to start with. But it's better to read some academic paper. Here they do have examples. They even, some of them even give you some GitHub's resources. That would be much easier for you to construct your work.
Okay, so
That's all we are going to do for the midterm. We are only 2 weeks ahead. I don't want to put you in a difficult situation. Okay, but we still need to evaluate your performance in this class.
okay, so if everyone can look at the screen, this is the summarized notes, right? So if you go through these notes, you should get most of the concepts that have been discussed in the class so far. Right?
Because of the video, if you copy the last part of the link in Google, you find a website where you can watch the video.
Okay, let me try.
Like as I was 5G, they use Google it and like the first steps.
Okay,
It's
I'll
called Field
just
Network.
so Google it and I can just Google it and I should find it.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you find the summarized notes, It's not this week. It's the previous week. Okay. Previous week, not this week. I put it on the wrong. Put it in the wrong area. Okay, so 16 slides. Easy. You will get through that in less than an hour. Okay, so let me maybe I should just do this. This one? Sorry, okay. What's that?
I can turn on my speaker. Yeah, you can.
Oh, I see.
With our innovation power here at Bigger Berlin, we're one of the first ones in the manufacturing automotive industry to launch private 5G into manufacturing at big
I think
scale.
it's okay.
And here at Bigger Berlin, we're the first ones to do this and then scale it up.
No,
Our engineering team works between manufacturing and IT, and this is where we collaborate.
Don't talk it.
it will I know it's from.
Private 5G network has really changed the way we can
But network in many places in the factory, especially outdoors, where traditionally
make a lot of investments and take a lot of time.
as you have to roll out fiber, gets energy here. Now it's really that small antenna over there on top of cell building.
With our innovation power here at Bigger Berlin, we're one of the first ones in the manufacturing automotive industry to launch private 5G into manufacturing at big scale. And here at Bigger Berlin, we're the first ones to do this and then scale it globally. Our engineering team works between manufacturing and IT, and this is where we collaborate with network teams such as Vanessa, and we will tell you more about that.
The private 5G network has really changed the way we deliver network in many places in the factory, especially outdoors, where traditionally you had to make a lot of investments, it would take a lot of time as you had to roll out fiber, get energy here. Now it's really that small antenna over there on top of cell building, connecting this whole outbound area, helping us update hundreds of cars, run logistics operations. This is how 5G is helping us transition even faster to a sustainable future.
Okay, so I think today there are more and more companies that are trying to implement 5G.
So they put the base station.
Yeah. He put the base. You mean the main? Yeah, they have one tower. Yeah, and instead of running fiber, they just have one tower to cover the whole area.
Do you think it's instead of using base station, it's enough to just use CPE for the whole factory?
Probably not.
No.
I think they probably meant he meant it like just the area that they're in, not necessarily like for the whole factory.
Ah.
So they will have several base stations scattered around the areas, and maybe have some antennas in the factories, because it's impossible for them to just use one for a whole factory.
But my idea is not difficult to set up a 5G network. You just set up the, you just say the macro cell, micro cell, and the small cell, that's all. So you just make sure the location do have sufficient signal. But the main issue is how do you construct the system underneath. Like IoT, you are going to have some small devices. How can you make these devices link to the network? So as we say, you need to have some gateway, which like a translator, like translate Bluetooth, Zigbee, LoRa, something like that. Well, right? So, maybe I'm wrong because RU is not easy to set up to get a good signal here. Because there is some limitation, like outside we do have small cells. Okay, but if you go to the corner of our building, the signal was not very good. Okay, but last time we called a telephone company, they tried to use the technique we talk, the beamforming. So they adjust the strength. Okay, but the result is they try to, because the antenna is for outside, right? So they try to, I didn't know because we are not a side in night, a night inside, night outside. So they are trying to reflect the signal to the building and reflect to our indoor, right? But that causes some signal in front of building was not good. Yeah, but the good thing is they don't need to send engineering here. They just remote control, we just adjust, the antenna.
There's also one thing about Tesla.
Yeah, but that's very professional. What I know is if you do have many small cells in your battery, that your battery can be even larger than our cameras.
Tesla
It's possible. I mean a battery. So how can you adjust this to get a very good signal for every location? That's another issue. Especially these devices can be mobilized. They are moving around. Okay. So the gateway can be an issue. And mobile devices can be an issue because it's hard for you to estimate the resources for every location. And another issue is how about the ultra low, what's that?
Ultra low latency.
Low latency. I thought that one is the most challenging issue.
Okay. I think we went over time by about 10 minutes. So we'll end class there. Good job, everyone. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Kind of lonely when no one asks any questions and you just have to imagine the questions.
She studied in Munich.
Means that you're doing an excellent job or teaching a horrible job. When you don't get any questions.
Munich.
Okay, so I said that
I didn't know which one.
if we just our lessons are so good that everyone
I think
understands
there's two universities.
material, then obviously you will not get any questions. The second case is if our material is so bad that it just can't be understood, just everyone give up. That's the second reason why we don't get any questions. And so hopefully it's the first one, right? I want to believe it's the first one.
She studied in management school.
Okay. Well, then there's the H, the universal. everything in their and I think maybe international students have a special international houses where they can
I was there. I mean, I was Zurich 20 years ago. I was in Zurich. That's the city called Zurich. Zurich. Fortune Center, Zurich.
There is like the supercomputer there or something like that.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think maybe.
It's quite close to Aachen.
Yeah.
Aachen University. My advisor, he is a professor in Aachen University.
Yeah. I've never been there. I don't know. I only know that there's a supercomputer there. I don't think. Yeah, I think the best supercomputer in Germany. Something like that.
Well, but they say there is nuclear research center. They do research. I didn't know if they do research for nuclear weapon or not.
In Europe or where?
Europe. They
Unit, yeah.
So it's between this Aachen.
And then
And there's a city called Dule. And there's Cologne.
yeah.
Cologne. And I arrived in Munich. And take the IC to here. And take a train to here and go.
Okay. Then there's a meeting center?
Yeah, English research center.
Research.
Yeah, research center. But they say this place is how can I say? Like a secret agent before.
Yes.
They are doing some research. No, not before.
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah, it's about the national security
And
for Germany.
for Germany. And which kind of research?
Nuclear.
Nuclear.
I didn't know if they do research
I
with
don't-
nuclear weapon.
I mean, Germany I think we are not allowed to have nuclear weapons because of what.
Yeah, I know, but in
Yeah.
secret.
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
You know, Taiwan will make nuclear power bomb too. Yeah, don't let it go. But it was get caught by the United States.
Yeah.
So I know the place, and I worked at the place
Yeah.
in long time. You know,
Oh,
we
okay.
would drive here to when I was served in army, and I didn't know the best is for developing nuclear power. Until I retired. I mean, until I think that was that was 1990. I finished my military service.
Is it mandatory service?
Yeah,
Mandatory.
we have to do our duty for 2 years. And the last year, it was formed by the United States Army.
Mm.
Because at that time, Taiwanese government think we need a nuclear weapon to protect ourselves.
Yeah, because of China.
Yeah, but you know, the United States, they disagree.
Yeah, it's also like with Iran now. Like the same thing that they want to build their nuclear weapons.
Yeah,
and
but
the US
most of the Taiwanese don't like to have a nuclear weapon, just a government thing.
Okay.
Because if you have a nuclear weapons, so you give an excuse to the enemy to use nuclear
Weapons to
weapons. Then you say, oh, we don't have nuclear weapons, so they don't have an excuse to use this kind of weapon.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm.
So most of people in Taiwan disagree with this idea. There's only few people in government thinking in that way. But you know, at that time, Taiwan is just transferred from the government to democratic countries. So people don't have much sense about these kind of things. Everything still follow government. Because if you are living under a dictative government for a long time, you will become a little bit dumb. Because you cannot speak it out.
Yeah.
You always listen. You always listen, so you used to. Because I lived in this kind of environment. Until I finished my military service.
Well, I mean, in East Germany it was the same until 1990. There was also like the socialist dictatorship there in East Germany.
East Germany?
Yeah, with the well, it was a puppet state from the USSR, from the Soviet Union, but it was also a dictatorship.
But you were asked primary minister, which is from East Germany.
You mean
lady?
Merkel?
Merkel?
Yeah, she was I think from East Germany.
Yeah, I think she's from East Germany.
Yeah, I think so too, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, but I think she's great. She's a great lady, and she has very good.
But I mean, she was in power for 16 years. That's a long time.
She's good. Her performance is pretty good. But I hate her. Yeah, because he's in China side. He's not in Taiwan.
Or maybe because of economic reasons, yeah.
Yeah. But there's no doubt she has done very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but unfortunately, he was not in our side.
Yeah.
That's the problems. He has been against Taiwan for many times. I just have no idea because, when I was exchange students there, people are friendly to us. But only the government, only your government, are not so friendly. They have some constraint. You have to follow some China rules.
Yeah.
You have to put China in front of you. I say, why? You are supposed to, I mean, the Germany is not supposed. You are a democratic country, right? So why you support the country to these communism?
Yeah. Well, it's
And
just
try to suppress our country.
well, it's just money, nothing else. I mean, the German companies make a lot of money.
Yeah, I know, because you do have a BMW, Benz, Volkswagen, many auto company it has a factory in China. Right?
But I've actually seen a lot of German cars here too. I was quite surprised. I mean, where I'm
No, I don't blame her. I just say that's the reality.
So where I'm living, there's like a Porsche dealership, there's a Mercedes dealership, and a BMW dealership. Like all in one area. So yeah. And I've seen also a lot of McLarens here. It's just like every day another McLaren driving there.
But do you like me?
Not particularly.
Not particularly.
I I mean, the chances in the past were way better.
Yeah.
Like,
what about your current, what would we call it? Prime Minister?
Prime Minister?
Prime Minister. The current Prime Minister is better than her.
No. I mean, we don't have a Prime Minister, we have a Chancellor. Merkel was a Chancellor, not a Prime Minister. But, well, I mean, the current is Frederick Merz, and he's an idiot.
No, I know he's an idiot, but he's more friendly to Taiwan.
Yes, could be. Well, the reason is that that the German companies still don't make as much money in China as 10 years ago. So, because now the Chinese are all making their own cars, and the German companies can't sell their cars anymore there. So, something like that, I guess.
Well, China is going to expand their market.
Yeah.
Mobile phone, including car business, many.
And also like with solar modules.
Yeah, solar module.
Yeah, I mean Germany has had a really big solar industry, but then the Chinese came and they just sold their modules under their production price to kick out all their competitors, something like that. I mean, it was quite stupid. But I mean, also the production costs in China are way lower than in Germany, obviously. So, yeah.
Well, but it's very difficult to resist the market of China.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge
have,
market,
yeah,
like 1.4 billion people or something like that. It's absolutely huge.
You cannot find another place, except India.
Yeah, I mean, in India it's like also over 1 billion people.
Yeah, but they only have a population, they don't have a strong economy.
Yeah,
that's
the
problem.
Yeah, in India, I mean, I've not been there, but it's quite dirty, the country I heard of. Yeah, it's like dirty, loud.
This country, by my view, this country will not change forever. You know why?
Why?
Because they cannot put people in a different grade. The upper level, middle level, you know what I mean? They define people's label by their surname.
Yeah, they have like this like caste system.
Like if you are slave, your surname will show you are slave.
Yeah.
So there is no way for you to, turn you over. Turn over your life.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm talking. This country doesn't have any chance to become a normal country, because a normal country should not be like that. Everyone should have a human right, right? You should have the freedom to.
Yeah, here. I think that's it, like the Indian caste system, where like here, peace warriors.
Yeah, that's why I'm talking.
Yeah, and also, I mean, it's quite weird because outside of the caste system are these untouchables, which are like, they don't see them as humans, really, these people. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. And I think that's true, like, when your heritage, like your parents, where you're born, defines everything. It's just,
So stupid people only
yeah.
So that's why I'm talking. They will not have big problems. They will not have any big change.
I mean, but in fact, the caste system shouldn't exist because they abolished it a few centuries ago. But I mean, in fact, it still exists. That's the problem. But yeah, they actually abolished this, I think, under Gandhi or something. I think he abolished the system, but it's actually still there.
But also the other issue is there are too many languages in this country. People are speaking different languages, so it's very difficult to communicate.
I only know English and Hindi, like two of the languages. languages, but I don't know how many.
Yeah, but the reality is they are not all people can speak English.
But
That's what I know.
But China has also many languages.
Well, but basically all people can speak Mandarin. They do have a local language. I mean in China. I think over 99% people can speak Mandarin.
I know it's like here in Taiwan, I think here there are also some quite different language types here in Taiwan. Like,
yeah, we do have maybe.
I heard of 4 different, but I don't know in particular how many different variations, I guess.
I think over 60% people can speak Taiwanese.
Okay.
And about maybe 20 to 30, the population, I think 80% population is Taiwanese, and 20% from China, the current population. But this 80% population, including Hokkien, and also Hakka.
I heard of that, yeah.
Hokkien and Hakka, and a few Aboriginal people. Aboriginal people, they have 10 to 20 different languages.
Yeah.
Seriously, for different tribes. So Hakka, they also separate to 4 types, but they are quite similar. And most of people speak Hokkien, that's Taiwanese. So the population maybe, if we look at it, it's 20, 55%, something like this.
Okay.
That's the distribution. Maybe not correctly.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah. Most of people. But people from China, they speak quite different languages. Some of them from Shanghai, or Beijing, some of them from the east, some the north, west.
I heard also in my Chinese language course that some words which exist here doesn't exist. Like I think the word measure. Like measure is a word that exists in China, but you don't use it here in Taiwan. Something like that, the differences in the language.
Yeah, but in German, the same. In German, you do people
dialects, well, not different languages, but different dialects.
But I think the most challenging things for Germany is now you do have a too immigration. Bringing too much, maybe not too much. I mean, bringing different religions, like Muslim or some other religions.
Yeah, I mean that there's the problem like with Islamists, which I mean we got some terror attacks from Islamists in Germany who came with the Syrian refugees, and also like Afghanistan and Iraq. There's like war all the time, and yeah, they are bringing problems, but it depends all the time on the person. Like some people are. I mean, I know one woman. She's from Syria. She's studying with me, and now she's making her PhD. But then there are also like people who are only making problems. Like it's always dependent on the person itself. How would I say?
The world always has some conflict.
Yeah, there are. If you have many different minorities in a country, there will always be different kind of. But there are also like the Kurdish people. They have also conflicts with, for example, the Turkish people, because they hate each other more or less, and that's why there are some problems here.
Yeah, but I'm just very curious how in West, most of the world start from religion. I didn't know if I'm correct or not.
What's
It's about religion.
what is about
Religion, like you believe.
yeah. What's about that?
Christian,
Yeah.
Jesus,
Mhm.
and the Muslim, the world between like a Jewish history. Right? I mean the war start from the religion.
And which kind of war? In Syria?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because
They believe different God. So that's the main question.
no,
So the war continues.
the thing is, Jews, Christians, and Muslims all believe in the same God. Like, yeah, it's all the same God in these few religions. They just believe in a different kind of way. Like, for example, Jesus. Well, we know Jesus from Christianity. Jesus is also a pretty important person in the Islam religion. Like, he exists there too.
Same.
Yeah,
Same.
the same for Jesus. He's like a prophet, like Muhammad. Yeah, but they have like the difference. Like, I mean, the Christians believe that Jesus like was born at Christmas.
So Muslims also know Jesus.
Yeah, he's Jesus.
I didn't know this.
Yeah. I mean, the religions are quite similar.
I thought they only believe Allah.
Yeah, Allah is just the Arabic word for God. Like, I mean, I think in Taiwanese you have also a
So
word
they
for
are
God.
all believe in the same God.
It's the same God, yeah. No,
Okay.
only the only difference is a bit how they believe and the religious book. Like, we have the Torah for the Jews, the Quran for the Muslims, and the Bible for the Christians. I mean, there are a lot of similarities, but also some differences. I mean, the main problem why they are fighting is, like, first of all, the Islamic State. You know, the Islamic State, like, they started everything, but the thing is, the reason why the Islamic State even exists is the US, because the US invaded Iraq, like, I think 2010, because they had nuclear weapons. But in the end, they didn't have any nuclear weapons at all. It was just a lie because of oil or something like that. Like, the US are always fighting because of oil. But in this time, during the war, the Islamic State got created by like the Islamists who wanted to fight like the bad Americans and something like that. And this just went to the war in Syria. Because like the guy like Bashar al-Assad, he was like the dictator of Syria. I think he murdered a lot of his civilians because they wanted to live in a democracy, something like that. Then the civil war started there. Like, first of all the government, then the rebellion, and also the Islamists continued to start there. And it's quite a shit show there, I must say, because then you have also the Russians there who are supporting the government. You have like America there who are supporting the rebellion. Then you have the Islamists. Everyone hates the Islamists more or less. And then you have also the
Israel.
Yeah. And then you have also like the other Arabic states like Qatar, Saudi Arabia. They're also supporting that. Like more or less the whole world is more or less involved in this conflict on some kind of side. Like, it's quite crazy what happened there. But now the war's over, thankfully, in Syria.
Well, you know, in Taiwan we don't have this kind of issue. You believe your God, you respect.
Yeah.
Everyone respect your belief. So in Taiwan, you know, it's a very still have a few conflict between different regions, but most of religion, but most of the time people get along peacefully. With different.
Well, I think in the Arabic world it was completely different. Like 60 years ago, or 50 years ago, people there, like how they believed him was completely different compared to now. I don't know what happened there, like war, something like that. I mean, for example, also Germany, I mean, we have like a lot of Turkish immigrants who came during the economic miracle in Germany after the war, because we just hadn't enough workers there, so we took like 500,000 workers from Turkey, so they can work in the factories, and they were more or less all Muslims, but there was like never a problem with that. All these problems with Islam and terrorism and all this stuff arise like 20 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, but you know, once you are in, it's a human nature. Once you encounter very difficult situation, you will believe, right?
Yeah.
For example, now, if I am in a very difficult situation, you know, I believe everything. I believe God. I believe Muslim. I believe
Yeah.
everything. So Taiwan is an island, right? So our ancestors may come from China or Japan or the islands in South Asia. Okay. So anyway, people live here. They may, I mean, in the early age, you know, that could be a very difficult time, right? So you may comes from north, I comes from south, but we get together, we may have a different belief. But things we encountered so critical situations, so we need to help each other. So you believe yours, I believe mine, and even I believe what you believe. So the God can put together. Seriously, if you go to some temple, they put Jesus in their temple too.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. So why not? I mean,
well I must say,
it's like an extra protection. You know, I have a protection from Maju. Maju is you know, Taiwan people believe in Maju. Okay. So also believe in Buddha, right? And if Jesus can come to help, why not? I mean, like extra protection, you buy another insurance, right? Why not? So my ideas, maybe my belief not strong enough. By your standard, you may say, oh, you are not a real believer. But for our philosophy, we may think of, you know, it's just like buy another insurance. You have
I just believe in everything, so I'm completely sure.
Yeah. So why not?
I don't think, because you are not allowed to believe in more than one religion. I mean, like there are like the.
Well, I know that's based on your most of people believe. Yeah, but for Chinese, I mean, you are in a very difficult situation. You may not survive to tomorrow. So you should believe everything.
Yeah. I mean, it's just different society, different culture, I would say. In the end, yeah.
So, I don't know. I just feel, I believe most Taiwanese, they do have a belief, but most of the time they respect people's belief. Like my sister, she believed Jesus. So she believed Jesus, that's fine.
Yeah, and would everyone think like that? There would be way less wars in the world when everyone thinks like that.
So I'm just curious why there are so many words start from the religion in West.
Yeah. I think we had like between two Christian groups there was also like a huge war. I think it was in the 16th century. You know Martin Luther?
Martin Luther.
Yeah, I mean he like created like a whole Protestant church thing, and there was also I think it was the 30 Years' War, like where millions of people died because the Catholics and Protestants fought each other like 30 years long, and it was really a huge war where like I think in the German region of Europe like 10% of the population got in Spain.
10%.
Yeah, they were all there because like 30 years of war. This is like a lot.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, stupid.
I'm going to Russia. I'm going to